Formula 1 is back in Australia after 3 years away, and on this Workday Good Lap Great Lap, we're having a look at the two Alfa Romeos of Kimi Räikkönen and Antonio Giovinazzi in 2019 to compare their performances. You can see straight out of the gate that Giovinazzi has a little bit more straight line speed than Räikkönen, suggesting he may be carrying a bit less downforce through the lap. We can see this as well in turn 1 as the throttle traces fall towards the bottom of the trace, showing the drivers lift out of the throttle. At the top of the trace, they're flat out on the throttle. The brake bars demonstrate where the drivers are braking. Giovinazzi has to brake a little more through turn 1, losing out on a bit of apex speed and losing out on a half a tenth of a second. As they run down towards turn 3, Giovinazzi has slightly more top speed again and also slightly more understeer on the apex of 3. He's not happy to let the car run out all the way to the outside of the road like Räikkönen is and be comfortable that he'll get back to the right hand side to prepare the car for turn 4. He has to give up a little bit of apex speed to do this. Räikkönen points the car in and has a sharp lift of the throttle, causing a tiny bit of oversteer on the way in. But he still doesn't lose time to Giovinazzi, who's struggling with the front end of the car to get the car turned and to deliver apex speed performance. On the way down to turn 6, notice how well these two earlier specification cars deal with the bumps. They'll be struggling with those in 2022. Giovinazzi uses a bit of extra exit curb to roll the car more quickly through the mid corner of 6 and get out back onto the throttle, losing no time despite carrying less downforce. As they head down towards the fast section of the lap, in 2022, drivers will arc to the right through here and not take this chicane. In this instance though, Giovinazzi slightly earlier on the brakes, slightly earlier on the throttle and gained net due to having less downforce through into this fast section. Heading into turns 11 and 12, Giovinazzi charges in much more. Räikkönen getting all the way out of the throttle and putting in a little bit of brake to try to be flat through the second apex. Look at his car, positioned in a much better and more open position for the second apex so he can hold the throttle flat. Giovinazzi though still manages to take good speed through the second apex, and as a result of not carrying the drag is almost immediately still going faster than Räikkönen through this third DRS zone. Turn 13 will be significantly changed for 2022, but Giovinazzi charges in too deep, missing the apex and losing time on the exit. He charges in again into turn 14, whereas Räikkönen continues his trend of preparing the car very well, using a little bit more brake, which you can see on the brake bars, and keeping the car under control through the exit. This means he's further across the road as he enters 15 and doesn't have to brake at an angle for 15, delivering better performance from the car through the apex. Giovinazzi is again not happy to use the full width of the road on the exit to be happy that he's going to get back across the road for 16, whereas Räikkönen is. This puts Giovinazzi out of sequence for 16, meaning he misses the apex again, losing a massive 3.5 tenths of a second through the final 3 corners of the lap. There'll be sweeping changes to this Melbourne Albert Park circuit for 2022. It's going to be fascinating to see how drivers and teams cope with maximising the layout.